Was it on the table? You didn't put it in your
Since I moved over here.
What are we in? October. You should know that. Finance Committee. And we will be going, let me make a comment. When we get to the general agenda, all the items on there were discussed.
What? Yesterday.
Community government.
Community development.
Development was yesterday, so when I get to them, I'm gonna ask you. Yes, ma'am. I call to order the October Finance Committee meeting. I was just gonna say, when we get to general agenda, all those items were discussed, so and I'll ask if there's any comments on them, each one, but I just as soon go ahead and vote them because everybody was here yesterday and talked about it, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll do the consent first. The mayor would like C7 pulled. Are there any others anyone would like pulled? Everybody look
I
through.
move
We
for
got a
approval of the balance of the consent agenda.
motion to second approve the balance of consent agenda. Everybody please vote when it comes up. That is approved. We will now go to C7. If the city clerk will please read C7.
That staff filters out.
Item C7, resolution awarding construction contract for Joycelyn V. Johnson Municipal Service Center roof replacement to Reich Roofing Service, Inc. of Charlotte, North Carolina. Total cost $4,201,741.
Who would like to comment on this?
Just a very quick question on that one, please. Obviously, a very important project, expensive project. We budgeted $5 million. This is 4.2 to get the thing. I just was wondering if we looked at any way of trying to move ahead with Area B, since it's right adjacent to the main area we're doing here. I realize this is a pretty good sized area, about 28,000 square feet, but we've got about 790,000 remaining in the budget. Is there any way to stretch that or get this area done, or maybe even ask for some additional dollars since inflation is going to hit us all?
Right. By the way, Darren Redfield, new purchasing director. So my understanding is that area has a lot of extra structural work that needs to take place. I think it was 1.6 million. 1.1 just for Area B.
Just for Area B.
Yeah, a lot of structural work up underneath the deck.
That's fine. Just a question.
What's
Layman's question.
What's the surplus?
What's left?
Yeah.
About 790.
790, and this is, you need another 400,000?
Yeah.
Is it worth looking at? My concern with roofs is if you fix some of it, but not all
That
of
was
it.
my concern. They're kind of butting into each other.
Right.
You don't fix the roof, a lot of stuff underneath it.
May I suggest, and we don't need to do it today, let's take a look and see if it makes sense and see if we can find some money for that. Because while they're out there roofing, let them keep going. If, Mr. Mayor, I think you brought up a legitimate point.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and vote to do this, the green area, sections A, D, and E. And if the staff will look again at section B.
Absolutely.
All right?
Good plan.
Thank you, folks. Any other comments on C7? Can I get a motion from a committee member, please?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second on C7, if the committee will vote when it comes up. Thank you very much. We will now go to the general agenda. As I mentioned earlier, wait a minute, let me get down there. There are 4 of them.
Yes.
City Clerk, if you'll please read the first one.
Item G1, consideration of items related to the Choice Neighborhood Grant from the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem, authorized by U.S. Housing and Urban Development to implement the residential facade improvement program located in the Northeast Ward.
Okay. This was discussed yesterday. Are there any additional questions? Could I get a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote when it comes up. You're going to get away easy.
Thank you.
All right.
Get under your desk.
We'll now go to G2.
Item G2, consideration of items related to funding for Habitat for Humanity of Forsyth County, Inc. for development of 13 single-family homes in the Happy Hill neighborhood located in the East Ward.
Are there any additional questions?
I have a question for Mr. Red or
Mr. Red or somebody?
Kelly. You two, you can come up too.
George Red, 2531 Kingsgate Drive, 27101, CEO with Habitat.
Kelly Minner, 428 South Sunset Drive, Winston-Salem, 27103. I remember.
Thank you.
Adams.
Thank you, Chair Clark. I just want to make a comment and a question. I know everybody is very passionate about what they do, and we all are. And, you know, I understand that people can be disappointed in us, you know, for we are the ones that have to try to balance all of everything in the city. And, you know, like I've said before, for my 14 years, I wish we could wave a magic wand and provide everybody with all the resources that they want, all of the sidewalks to, you know, housing and businesses, new businesses with loans. I wish we could, but we can't. So as you've seen in the meetings, there's this constant ebb and flow of trying to balance the resources and ensuring that everybody gets something. And my question is, and I guess I should have, maybe I alluded to it yesterday, I just want to know, is it possible to do these houses without all of $2.1 million? Has there been, again, that your financial people looked at it? I know in business, we just saw it, that there's always got to be this, well, if I can't get this, I call it the good, bad, the ugly. What can I get for this versus this if I can't get this? How do we still make this happen? That's my question.
Yes. Well, the answer is yes. And earlier when we started doing some development work in the Northeast Ward and Councilwoman Burke's ward, we added garages. So with the addition of the garages that we've decided to take place here in Happy Hill, that's where the increase came in. Actual cost, and we do have our CFO, Ms. Joni Yoder, here, but actual cost for our housing costs, I think they've gone up about 35% over the last 2 years since COVID. I think fully funding a house is right about $145,000, $150,000. So I think that puts us, trying to do the math, maybe around, what is that?
1.885 million.
There we go. So a little bit short of the 2 million. So yes, it can be done at a lesser amount, but that does take away the garages.
Okay. Does any of the other houses that are presently there in the area that you are planning to build, do they have garages?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Can I get a motion then?
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second on G2. If everybody please vote when it comes up. And that is 2-2. We will now go to G3. The city clerk will please read this one.
Item G3, presentation on creation of revolving construction loan fund of $2 million to provide gap financing for housing rehabilitation and the development of infill housing.
I would comment, it was a 2-2 vote, it was 3-1 yesterday. It goes to the full board regardless. If you do not have a unanimous vote, it can't go on consent, so it'll be in the general agenda. Council last night. I do have a comment on this. Ms. Scipio actually asked a very good question yesterday about, is this going to be part of the housing trust and this, that, and the other? I thought of the analogy, a couple years ago, we had to replace the carpeting in 2 of the rooms of our house while we were living there. And if anyone's ever done that or painted a room while you lived there, we had to take the furniture out of that and move it to the rest of the house, and the whole thing was very, very difficult to do, but we managed it. And what we're doing here is we're trying to move forward a number of housing projects while at the same time, Ms. Tony and staff are putting together a new overreaching comprehensive policy. Now, those two may be somewhat incongruent when we get there.
Yeah.
But what we got to do is somehow keep living and keep moving things forward while they work on where we're going. So, Ms. Chippo, the point is, I think you made a very good point. And the question is, we won't know until y'all come back with it. But I do think, and I supported this yesterday, I support it today, we need to keep moving forward with the projects we have while at the same time we renovate our policy, if I can use that analogy. Anyway, with that, are there any other?
Question.
Yes, sir.
There were some questions about more information yesterday. Did we get that information?
This is just information only. We're not voting.
Oh, it's a presentation. Okay, great.
I'm assuming when this comes up for a
Next
motion.
month.
This will come back next month to both committees.
Yes, sir. I'll present it with the underwriting standards you're looking for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we don't need to do anything here. This is just information, and I think we've answered all the questions. We'll now go to the next one, please. Clerk will read that one.
Item G4, presentation on the proposed project at Esquire Place, 22 three-bedroom, two-bath modular homes with garages development located in the North Ward.
I did want to make one comment here, and that Mr. King addressed this. I just want to be sure everybody understands. A modular home is not a mobile home. A mobile home comes on wheels and you take it off. A modular home maybe comes on a truck. The house is partially built in a factory. They bring it and assemble it on the site. But this house will look like any other stick-built house, which is a traditional type of construction. I'm actually very interested to see how this turns out. It is a somewhat novel type of manufacturing. We don't see a lot of it around here, but we do. So anyway, this is for information only. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Mr. Mundy.
I think it was answered yesterday, but do we have a price point on what these will sell for?
220.
Mr. Gentleman from Clayton is here. Can you answer that question again, what you're going to sell these for?
Yes, sir. I'm Scott Hicks with Clayton Homes.
I think you said there were 3 models,
New models?
3 different floor plans?
Yes, sir. 1,344 square feet, 222,000. That's $164 a square foot. The 1,248 square foot is 174 square foot, or 217,000. 1,152 square foot, $184 a square foot to build, 211,000, and 1,056 square foot, 201,000, or $191 a square foot to build.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? Again, this is information only, and this is in the North Ward, I believe.
Yes.
Ms. Adams, you have-
Thank you. Again, as we said, building housing, we can't just look at one way, the way that most of us grew up knowing what that meant. There are different styles and definitions of housing. And if we only stick to the traditional way that we've been building houses, we will never build enough houses. So I am very thankful for Clayton and any modular manufactured housing, anything. Again, like I said, tiny houses, accessory dwelling units, condos, duplex, townhouses, it doesn't matter, multifamily. All of it is needed right now for the populations of our city, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm going to take your tour of your manufacturing facility. I hope some other council members will too. And as Councilmember Clark said, this might spearhead something else here in Winston that we see that we can get this done very quickly with a great product, sustainability. I like the fact that the energy efficient star ratings are all in it. I love it, and I look forward to working with you, and I'll hopefully see you next month.
Okay, any other questions, comments? And believe it or not, folks, that is how you run an efficient meeting.
One time all year, the finance meeting is shorter than
But
public.
everything was on my agenda yesterday. That's the reason why.
Anyway,
Give us the
Miss Latham, Miss Kelly Latham, if you'll, she's not even listening to me. Could you hang tight a minute after the meeting? Thank you. We are adjourned.